All right, welcome to the first of my tutorial videos that I'm going to be making for PSO2. This one's going to be a pretty basic one covering character creation. Now, I have a number of characters on different ships. I think I've got like 7 on ship 10, 1 on ship 2, 1 on ship 7. But anyhow, the character creation process is pretty straightforward. There's a lot of customization you can do, but I'll make some recommendations on starting classes as well. So let's just get through this. So we're going to go create new character. You could watch the cinematic. I recommend it your first time playing, but for the purpose of this, I'm going to skip it. Going to skip that too. Okay, so now we're presented with race selection, race and sex selection. There are stat bonuses for races, and that's something that if you're really wanting to go crazy min-max, you can definitely take a look at. Personally, I care more about making my character look the way I want it to look, since I'm going to be stuck with it for a while, more than likely. So for this, I'm going to just do a human male. Now for starting classes, you can actually, in this game, you're not locked into an individual class. So there's the concept of a main class and a subclass, and they can be changed virtually whenever you want. So you unlock the subclass, I think, around like level 20. There's a quest you get. But anyhow, just know that you're going to end up being able to have essentially 2 classes. One is your primary and one is your secondary for additional support stats and skills. So I recommend Hunter for new players. There's a few reasons why. Hunter is pretty straightforward to play. It also is probably the most beneficial subclass to have. It has things like automate, where you can automatically heal yourself with essentially potions whenever you're getting hit. It also has just a lot of survivability skills, which are very necessary for other classes. It really makes a great subclass for things like Ranger, Bouncer, Braver, and there are others as well. Gunner. You don't see the full list of classes here today, but there are other classes you can switch to right away, like Gunner. And there are also advanced classes which don't show up to be chosen until you've leveled up a couple classes to 75. So Hero and Phantom are the 2 advanced classes today, as of me making this video. We're gonna go ahead and just make a Hunter. He can be a generic Hunter, the base character. They give you a number of options of preset characteristics, but we're just going to go with the base one. Actually, if you want to see it, here you go. Oh, we need to highlight it. Sorry. So a lot of different base characters that you can work with and tweak from there. We'll just start with this generic one. Base face type. Now, one thing I should touch on is a lot of these features can be modified after the fact at the beauty salon. Some things that are like, your actual character's face and things like that, they do require using an in-game currency called star gems, which can be acquired through, rewards from certain quests, and you can get star gems from using real money transactions. But, good idea is to spend some time making the character that you want. You can make, this guy looks fun. Let's just leave him as our face. Oh, lots of different face variants here. Juvenile face. I kind of like the prime face. Or the elderly. Let's do elderly. This would be fun. Eye pattern. You can see the various eye changes here. Eyebrow color, and it is highlighting what I've actually modified. Eyebrow thickness, so we can give them some thicker ones. Match hair color. Either way, it's pretty cool. Like, there is just a lot of customization here, even down to eyelashes. Look at that. There's some pretty visible eyelashes. We'll match hair color again. Why not? Makeup pattern. This is where things start getting interesting. We can put a face tattoo on, some war paint. That looks creepy. But yeah, a lot of different options. Freckles. Face morphing lets us actually really alter the way this is going to look. So you can make him have a chubby face. I like that. Comical. Okay. So he's starting to look pretty cool here. Let's go to hairstyle. What should we do here? There's a lot of options. Now, something that is worth noting, the things you see here are not final. There are a crazy amount of hairstyles you can unlock in the game. In fact, some people will say the true end game of this is unlocking hairstyles and costumes. You know, it's Fashion Star Online. It's a pretty sweet hairdo. Sadly, they don't have any good bald ones to start. You know, otherwise that's what I would do. Let's go with this. This is a pretty fun hairstyle. Another spike. The cool thing is there's actually characters you run into in the game. You'll be like, oh, I like that hairstyle. And sure enough, you can usually unlock their hairstyle. Various enemies and heroes that you run into throughout the game. Sometimes through star gems, sometimes through scratch tickets with AC, but there's a number of ways to unlock cosmetic stuff. Virtually everything can be purchased too from the player shops as well. So either way, you know, don't feel like you're stuck with what you have today. You'll be able to unlock more and change your character whenever you want. Base body type. Oh yeah, let's make him a little taller. Or we can make him short. That's kind of a fun look. Let's make him a little guy with a big head. All right, I'm good with that. And we can morph the body and go plump, as they say. Or we can just leave him right in the middle. If he raises height. No, I like the short version. All right, here's our funny little guy. I don't know what I'm going to call this character yet. Skin color. Pretty straightforward. Body paint. Get some tattoos. Under armor. Bandage. So these are things you can't really see right now because I'm wearing armor at the moment. There is actually a way to hide it though. There we go. There. So these are the kinds of things you can see if you want these to be under your character. We'll go tattoo. Detailed body edit. We can change things like body shape. Neck girth. Hip size. This is important. Call this the booty slider. If you ever hear anyone talking about the booty slider. Now, some of this may change in the North American release. I don't know. It very well could. Oh, hey, we can add some muscle. We can't see. Maybe we can see it if we... there we go. Yeah, we're going to be ripped. This is an amazing character, by the way. I mean, this is not going to be my main, but it probably should be. Costumes, you don't get a lot to start out with. But you can unlock tons of them. There's a lot of collaboration between different video games. Like in the Japanese version, they've done collaboration with Persona, Nier Automata, Final Fantasy XIV, Monster Hunter, Frontier Z, you name it. What should we have this guy wear? Ooh, I kind of like the suit. Yeah, let's do this. I'm digging it. Costume color. Now, not all costumes and gear can be changed in color, but these starter ones definitely can be. Ooh, that's bright. That's bright for me. I don't know. I kind of like the dark look. Or what about this? Oh, that's too bright. Way too bright. Ooh, that'll kill your eyes. All right. Maybe it's just my monitor. I don't know. Accessories is where things get interesting too. So there's not a ton to start with, but you unlock them as you go. The cool thing about accessories is they can be changed placement-wise completely. This isn't going to do it justice, but when you get things like wings, you can do a lot of modifications to them. So these are these little cat ears I've got on my guy right now. We can have up to 4 accessories. I don't think there's any others I necessarily need. I could do a fun hat. Ooh, yeah, maybe I'll do the hat. Maybe I'll ditch the ears. stitch those ears. I just need something that I can modify, so the hat will work for this. Emblem. Where's that actually showing up? Oh, there we go. Cool. That looks fun. Okay, so far we're looking pretty slick. Now here's where things get cool. Accessory position. So we can actually alter everything about where this thing sits. Can't do this in most games. So imagine if you had wings or something like that. You can totally adjust where they sit on your back, how they sit on your character. And for the hat, it doesn't make a lot of sense to move a ton of this. Maybe the hat can float above my head. You can see my eyes better. That works. Angle. This might make sense. So we're going to actually adjust this to tilt it down a little bit. Oh yeah, this is a slick look. We can tilt it to the side. You could spend seriously days customizing characters. I know some people that's why they play this game, is for this level of customization. They unlock all the accessories and clothes they want, and then they go to town on this. So we can make this hat really big. So as you can see here, you know, we can make it wider. We can make it taller. Looks like that is making it longer. Okay, that's a nice looking hat. Okay, so, man, what are we gonna call this guy? Macnobobble or something? Macnobob. I like it. Voice selection. Again, you're not limited to just these voices. You will unlock more voices, even like main character voices and villain voices that you like. You can unlock, and you can use those as your voice later on. And you see his mouth move? All right, let's go with that one. Wait, where's that? That one, 9. 9's the winner. Change pitch. Oh, that's even better. Okay. So don't hit the randomize all button or it'll literally randomize everything. We can save the character creation data. So if you ever want to use it again, we'll just call this Macnobobble. Character data has been saved. That makes sense. Can't use different races for blueprints, essentially. So I couldn't use this for a cast, which is like a robot. Okay. Select facial expressions. Smile. Angry. Suspicious. Eyes closed. This is kind of funny. So for various emotes, these may happen. Or various story segments in the game, you can see what your character looks like in these situations. A motion test. Make sure you really, really like it. I think it's safe to say this is an amazing configuration. And I'm using the right or the left mouse button to move my character around, and to zoom in, zoom out, you can use the scroll wheel. All right. So that's it. That's character creation. Let's go ahead and create this fellow. Let's make sure we can call him what we want. Macnobobble. Maybe just Macnobob. We call him Macnobob. Okay. So he's a hunter, a human male hunter. And I'll link an article about the various stat bonuses. Hopefully it'll still be relevant by the time this hits the West. But there's some advantages to creating various races, like I mentioned before, if you're really going for the ultra min-max guide. It's not that big of a difference, but it is a difference. Get things to ranged attack. You get bonuses to ranged attack, hit points, all that kind of stuff. All right, and you get this little message in this version. You complete the first story quest. You can skip the introduction. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, we're going to skip the introduction. I just want to get to this segment here. So here, this is essentially we're going to end up after you finished all the kind of intro cutscenes and things like that. You end up on the ship of the ARKS fleet. Here is where your journey really begins. There's a lot you can do. There's characters talking to you immediately, trying to get you to do these things called ARKS Missions, which I recommend. ARKS Missions are kind of like some tutorial objectives that get you going at least. So pay attention to Astarte. She's saying we've already completed our first mission. Okay. Select ARKS Missions under Quest to receive your reward. So here we go. ARKS Missions. Receive all rewards. Yay! Level 2. So you're going to find that you're going to level up a lot from little things like this. The game doesn't really get super grindy XP wise until much later. So the early levels, I'd say getting up to level 75 is pretty easy. After 75, then that's where the real dedication comes in. So we can get some more rewards, level up a little bit more. Or we can just cancel this for now. Okay, so now if we go to, where is it? ARKS Road. Oh, I guess you know what? I just noticed they when they did the episode 6 stuff, they got rid of the old ARKS Road. So now we just have ARKS Missions instead. So main missions, which appear as you progress through the game, as well as daily missions and weekly missions. So this is cool. Huzzah! So anyhow, follow missions they give you. They're going to give you money, experience. I apparently learned my Dark Blast because my alts have Dark Blast. You're not going to see that on a new character. Dark Blast is like a crazy demon transformation skill that you get later on. Cover that in a later mission as well. But just for starting out, like I said, the ARKS Missions, which used to be ARKS Road, is a good place to start. A couple NPCs that you're going to want to talk to and know. Administrator Coffee. So Administrator Coffee is where all of your unlocks happen. Whether it's level cap increase, whether it's class unlock like Hero or Phantom, it all starts with Coffee. So make sure that if Coffee has a quest for you, you make sure to do it. That is the key thing. Now, we can't get any quests from her now because we haven't completed all the ARKS missions. But we can. So right now it's saying talk to Afin. He's over here. Hey Afin, where you at, buddy? Let's get a quest from Coffee. That'll be where we end it. And then we'll start another segment of the tutorial series after this. And in the Western version, you're not likely going to have all of this Japanese. It will likely be 100% translated by then. Okay. So he's going to give you essentially a quest. So client orders are just quests. Early, they're pretty important to do. Later on, they're going to be not 100% necessary because the rewards you can get from just grinding out various activities are going to be better than just doing repeatable quests. So reviewing weapons switching. Okay, we'll take that. I recommend reading it the first time. I've actually read through these things like 1,000 times. And honestly, some of the information in these tutorials is really good. So, you know, your weapon palette is essentially, you can have up to 6 weapon slots, you know, so you could have like a sword, a wired lance, and a partisan on Hunter. So weapon palettes is, I've got mine set to scroll wheel, so I can just use the scroll wheel to switch between weapons on the fly. And that's what this is telling us. So we can register various weapons to these palettes, and I'll show you that as well. So here, each set can have up to 6. Normal attacks, photon arts, and techniques. Normal attack is what it sounds like. It's just your regular basic attack, doesn't use any resources. Photon arts, that is pretty much what you're going to be spamming if you are anyone that doesn't use techniques or magic. It's not really called magic in PSO, it's called technique. But anyway, photon arts and techniques both use your PP down in the lower left, or photon points. PP sounds funny. So yeah, you know, each weapon is going to have different PAs or photon arts associated with it. Rods and technique users are going to have various techniques or spells to use. Weapon action is it's a kind of a wild card. You know, if you're playing a hunter, it's a guard. If you're playing a braver, it's like a guard counterattack. If you're playing hero, it shoots bullets out of your hand. If you're a gunner, it enables you to use bullet time dodges, which are really important. It's called S-roll. So weapon action is different for each class. So that's a good thing to know. Well, each weapon, I should say. So I'll go ahead and show you this. So accepted, the client orders reviewing weapon switching. So if we want to complete this quest, all we have to do, yay, we switched our weapon. So here's my regular sword. Here's my wired lance. Here's my gun slash, which is the meme weapon, by the way. Probably don't want to main that weapon. So here, let's talk to him. Yay! We're level 4 already. We haven't even done anything. Okay, now we're talking about the sub palette. That's essentially your hotbar for items and other skills that aren't related to your weapon. And I think it's worth covering this a little bit for now. I want to keep this really basic though, so I'm not going to go too far into a whole lot of depth, but I will show you where to do this. So I recommend when you want to customize your character, you're going to be customizing your character a lot. I have this button here called Customize set to a hotkey. So if you go into Options, Control Settings, Keyboard Settings, I'm doing keyboard and mouse. I really like keyboard and mouse. In mouse recommendation wise, I would say the Logitech G502 is amazing for Phantasy Star Online. The 3 thumb buttons makes it quite nice to use. But I know a lot of people that play with gamepads just fine. Anyhow, some of the things you're going to want to pay attention to. Action 1, this is all your primary skill section. You know, your primary targeting mode, I should say. There's a third-person shooter mode, which is Action 2. So if you're playing a ranger or a gunner, you may use third-person shooter mode for a bit. That's Action 2. So that's the difference. That's kind of important to know. So window, you know, we're not gonna change anything there. But Action 1, we're gonna definitely do some stuff. So we're gonna look for customize. Customize. Oh, here we go. Customize. So I've got mine set to V. I highly recommend having customize on a hotkey. Another thing is there's a quick menu. Let's see if I can find that in this list. Quick menu is super handy as well. I might have already skipped it. So, yep, I did. Probably up at the top. There it is. Open quick menu. So I'll show you what quick menu does and what customize do. But these are 2 things I highly recommend key binding to something that's very accessible. Okay, so first quick menu. Quick menu lets you bounce all around the ship instantly. You can go to, you know, different locations like Franca's Cafe, the beauty salon, your room. Everyone gets their own player apartment, essentially. You get a team room. That's like your guild. So a team is no different than a guild in most games. You can get XP buffs, rare drop buffs, all that kind of stuff from your team room. Okay. What else? Anything else that we need to do right now? One thing that I always do is I hit shift here to change pattern, and I usually go under multiplay, and I'll show you why. Now you'll see here this menu changes if I save it. The main thing I was getting out of this was party maker installation. So if you're on a quest that's, you know, let's say it's a 12-person quest, or, you know, however many people there are, you know, rather than having to say, hey, you want to join my group or anything like that, you can just drop a party maker device on the ground with this menu. It doesn't require anything. You don't have to unlock anything, spend any resources on it. It just drops a party maker on the ground, and anyone can click on it to join your group. The more people you have in your group, the more XP you get. Like, you literally get an XP buff that can be seen from having more than one person in your group. So yeah, that's kind of some of the basics here. Now I did want to show off the sub palette, which we were talking about. So see that hot bar at the bottom? If we go to sub palette, we can change the way things on here sit. Now I don't usually use telepipe on my hotbar. I do keep moon atomizer. Moon atomizer is like a resurrect item. If somebody dies, you just use that next to anyone who's dead on the ground. Monomate's your basic healing item. There are 3 different types. There's just monomate, dimate, trimate. Monomate is the weakest, trimate is the strongest. There's a number of things we can set here under sub palette. So class skills like Dark Blast, you're not going to have this day one. This is something you unlock much later on. I don't know why, but I always put it on slot 7. Now we've got our various attacks. Doesn't make sense to have our attacks on sub palette. We were going to put those on our weapon palette. But think of your hotbar as, you know, stuff that's usually on a cooldown or an item. That's the way I usually look at it. Whereas your weapon palette is like your primary attacks. But here's the kind of things that you can put on there. You know, items, skills, abilities, all that good stuff. So if we go to weapon, the weapon palette, you can see I already have a number of things set on here. Normal attack, rising edge, and you start with these abilities, by the way. I actually take weapon action off, and I'll show you why in just a second. I actually have weapon action assigned to one of my thumb mouse buttons because I use it so frequently. And I want to make sure I have as many attacks as possible on this list. Everyone's different, though. So Nova Strike, I think that's a good AoE attack. Take it off of there. Other spin, sure. These are not going to be your final abilities either. You're going to actually unlock a ton of other skills as you progress. I don't know why I can't. Oh, this is a different, sorry. I can't equip this. It says Wired Lance Photon Art, and I'm trying to put it on a sword. So, I mean, we've basically got what we can have on here. Rising Edge and Nova Strike. And normal attack. But you will find what are called discs from killing enemies and just random loot at the end of levels, quests, that unlock different skills. And the highest level skill currently is 17. It's kind of a weird number to end on. You know, I'm sure it'll change down the road, but right now, level 17 is the highest ability you can get. So if you can go out and buy them from player shops, you can buy them from various NPC shops that are in the town or in the ship, but you can also just find them. So I wouldn't stress out about it right away. But later on, as you're trying to do more and more damage, you may want to upgrade some of your primary skills or get some new ones that you didn't have or couldn't find from drops. There are a lot of good ones for Hunter. Ignition Parry being one of my favorites. But we'll cover that in a later tutorial. The last person that I wanted to show you is the class counter. So, hey, class counter guy. So here's where you change your class. So if you want to change class to something else. Now, on this ship, I don't have Hero and Phantom unlocked. Actually, you know what? I do have it unlocked because it's account-based, I believe. But I can't unlock it until I complete some of the beginning missions. But everything else is fair game. Gunner, my personal favorite class. Twin machine gun class. You got Force, which is kind of like your mage, caster, technique user class. And then you got a skill tree. This is a big deal. So I'll show you the screen where you actually customize it, but you can have more than one skill tree. It does require purchasing it with real money transactions. When you add skills, when you actually customize and learn skills, it's permanent unless you get a reset pass. The reset pass is something they usually hand out for free during maintenance, like for a big patch. That way, if they're doing significant class changes, you can go and try out those new builds. You can also purchase additional skill trees. So if you wanted to have different like specs or different types of builds, you can do it that way. So that's one of the ways that they'll get money out of you if you want to do a lot of, you know, fine tuning or have multiple builds. I have several gunner and fighter and hunter builds on my main. But you'll notice that certain things are grayed out because they have level requirements. You'll also notice that you know, some of these other ones are just grayed out because I haven't unlocked the prerequisite. So it'll say here, prerequisite HP boost 1, level 3. If I level this up to 3, you get 1 skill point per level, by the way. Boom, now it unlocks that. So I'm not going to go too much detail on the skill trees right now. I just want to show you that they're there and that you should use them with caution because it's somewhat final. I recommend researching builds first before you put points into things. Otherwise, you may end up with a build that's just not all that great. Some of the things I like from Hunter, just to let you know, pretty much all the damage dealing stuff from Fury. Fury stance is, you know, it eventually turns into just basically doing more damage. Another thing people like in Hunter is Automate, which I talked about earlier. Lets you automatically use healing items when you fall below a certain threshold. Yeah, so this is the skill tree. Then eventually you're going to be able to get a subclass, and you can you'll see a main class and subclass. Right now we don't have one, so we can't do that yet. So that concludes my kind of intro to Phantasy Star character creation tutorial. You know, there's a lot of other stuff I recommend doing. Basically, follow the ARKS missions as a starting point. There's going to be all kinds of rewards you get, as you can see here. We're probably going to level up to something crazy. Yay, level 5. Yay, level 6. Look at this. More objectives just keep popping up. This is nuts. It didn't used to be this easy. By the way, the ARKS Road, the previous version of this, had you running all over to different NPCs to try to get these objectives done. And a lot of this stuff you're not going to have because it's account based. So when it says clear sanctum exploration, this is because other characters on my account have already completed this. So I'm just getting free experience basically for previous things I've already done. But for you, you're going to see set a PA tech on your weapon palette, complete mag license application, talk to Gene, complete difficulty unlock. All of these things are going to be relevant. And yeah, like I said, coffee, the number one thing I can tell you is that coffee is super important. Do all of coffee's quests. If you're going to ignore everyone else, don't ignore coffee, and don't ignore your class NPC. So for Hunter, who is it for Hunter? Oza? I think it's Oza. So Oza gives you Hunter-specific quests. And the reason why that's important is later on, he'll actually give you quests that give you skill points. So know your class, know your skill person, your class trainer, they're all in this central area. So Hunter / fighter, summoner right here. Azanami is braver. Stratos is hero. Kyakuya is phantom, one of the new classes as well. Lisa is ranger gunner. And where is Marlu? Oh, there's Marlu. Marlu is force and techer. Katori and Saga are bouncer. So now we're really done. Okay, so this concludes the first video. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoy PSO2.